Mr. Elmhorst with the help video for the mastery practice solving two-step inequalities. So after the lesson, we're going to focus on solving, continue circling the variable term, and right now the variable term is positive and on the left, so our inequality sign will stay the same. So now we start solving just like we did with the equations. We're going to add or subtract first, and then multiply or divide second. So it's the opposite of adding to. Subtracting 2, bring the variable term down to the next step. What's the opposite of multiplying by 5? Dividing by 5. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. Now you're going to need 3 things in your solution. You're going to need the variable, you're going to need your symbol, which is less than or equal to, and then you're going to need your solve. 15 divided by 5 is 3. So we go down to the number line and we're going to look at 3. Put a circle at 3, and if there's a line down below, it's shaded. And then less than is any number that is going to the left. What are some numbers that are less than 3? 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. So this is any number less or equal to 3. That is the actual graphic meaning of what that inequality comparison is saying. All right, number two, we have a variable term on the right side, and we have our inequality sign. What's the opposite of positive 3? -3. So we're going to subtract 3 from both sides. That's going to give us 18. Bring the variable term down to the next step. Bring your inequality sign down. Now step 2, we're going to divide both sides by 9. The opposite of multiplying the variable by 9 is dividing. Okay, so now we're going to bring this down. But there's only one issue with this, how we graph it. Is the variable on the left side or the right side? Now it's on the right side of the comparison sign. So this variable comparison, instead of saying x is greater than or equal to, it's saying 2 is less than. So part of tomorrow's lesson is we are going to rewrite the inequality with an inequality statement from the variable. So we flip these around and then rewrite the inequality with the focus being on the variable, the symbol, and then a number. So here x is on the tall side, the greater than. So what it's really saying is x is greater than or equal to 2. So we go down here, put an open circle at 2. X is greater than, and then, well, I'm starting with an open circle, but then it's equal to, so then we're going to shade it in. So x is any number that is greater than or equal to 2. Circle the variable term and the sign to the left. When the variable term is positive and on the left, we can bring the inequality symbol straight down. And then we start solving on the inequality sign. We start solving on the same side with the variable. The opposite of -8, +8. Bring the variable term down to the next step. Bring the sign down. And bring down the result from step 1. Now, the variable is being multiplied by 9, so we're going to divide both sides by 9. So now we have just 1x. 18 divided by 9 is 2. And the variable is positive on the left, so now we can graph x is greater than 2. So we put an open circle at 2. X is on the greater than side. And we're going to leave it open because it is also not equal to. Number 4, circle the variable term. The variable is positive, but it's on the right. So we're going to solve with the variable term on the right. But once we get down to our answer, we're going to have to rewrite the answer as far as the solution from the variable, then being with the variable, and then the comparison. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So now we have 7x is less than or equal to 21. What's the opposite of multiplying the variable by 7? We're going to divide both sides by 7. So now we have x is greater than or equal to 3. But now we're going to take this and rewrite it from the variable, with the variable starting on the left. So we're going to flip the variable in numbers positions, but then we're also going to flip the sign and write it with the perspective of what the variable is. X is greater than or equal to 3. X is greater than or equal to 3. So we go down here, put an open circle at 3, and x is greater than going to the right. And when it's equal to, we're going to shade that circle in, saying that our solution starts at 3 and it includes 3. It is equal to. Circle your variable term. It's positive on the left. Start solving, adding or subtracting first using inverses. Bring the variable term down to step 2. Step 2, x times 2. We're going to divide to inverse that, divide by 2 on both sides. X is greater than 3. The variable is on the left. Check. And the variable is positive. Check. So it's a couple things that we're looking for and paying attention. The variable is on the left and it's a positive variable. So now we can graph them, put an open circle at 3. X is greater than. And we're going to leave the circle open because it is not equal to 3. It's only greater than 3. Last example from the first page. Circle the variable term. It's positive. Check. On the left. Check. Now we can start solving. We start by adding or subtracting on the variable side first, and then bring the variable term down to the next step. -5, +3. If you go -5 and then +3, you're going to end up at -2. Now we have x is less than or equal to -1. So we're going to put a circle at -1. And we're going to shade it in because it is also equal to. And x is on the less than small side of that comparison. So we're going to do x is less than or equal to -1. Number 7, check your work. The variable is positive. The variable term is positive, and it is on the left side of the comparison symbol. So we have opposite of subtracting 7. We're going to add 7 to both sides. The opposite of multiplying by 9 is dividing by 9. So 38 plus 7 is 45, and then 45 divided by 9 is 5. So we have x is less than or equal to 5. Find our variable term. The variable term is positive, but is it on the left? We draw a comparison symbol. We have the variable term is on the right. So we'll deal with that in just a little bit. Let's start solving. Start solving on the side with the variable, plus 1 minus 1. So now we have x divided by 2 is less than 3 minus 1. What's the opposite of dividing by 2? We're going to multiply both sides by 2. So now we have x is greater than 4. So this is our solution, but we want the variable term on the left side. So we're going to rewrite it. X is greater than 4. So now with the variable positive and on the left, you have our correct solution. X is any number that is greater than 4. Circle the variable term. So it's positive. Yes. On the left. Yes. Now let's go ahead and solve. What's the opposite of adding 18 to the variable term? We have negative 22 and negative 18. So it's going to end up being negative 40 altogether. If you go negative 22 and you go 18 more negative, you're going to end up at negative 40. What's the opposite of multiplying by 8? So now we have the variable on the left and positive. Now we have negative 40 divided by 8. Should end up with x is greater than negative 5.